Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Deal Podcast. And I'm still laughing. But anyways, as always, I'm your host Keeona, and Shawn and Owen are joining me today.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. How you guys doing? How was your spring breaks?
Pretty good. Just got to hang out a lot and then just kind of enjoy doing my own thing, and that was pretty nice.
That's good, Shawn.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I caught up on some sleep. Got to see my cat.
Aw.
Hung around the house. Yeah. Went on.
And yet he was still too busy to come to Muncie and visit me. No, I'm just playing.
And got a haircut.
Yes, I did.
We're not gonna ask you to show it, but
Not again. That would be number 3 today.
Yes.
It doesn't look that bad, Shawn.
Yeah.
You look great, man.
yeah, it looks great.
Thanks.
But today, we are talking about true crime. And to be honest, like, when it comes to true crime, I think of podcasts. And, I mean, there are some TV shows that I watch that are involved in true crime, but, like, I don't really delve into that a lot. But any true crime, like, in general that you guys like to get into or have gotten into or just, like, get into from time to time?
Well, it was really funny of me to pick this topic to talk about. We were talking in our, our group chat together over last week, and we decided since Sean's mom likes true crime so much, we should talk
Oh,
about it.
yeah, I forgot about
yes.
that.
But I
Mom.
have very limited knowledge.
Mom, if you're watching, I love you.
How sweet.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about she should be on the show one day. Like,
Yeah, get your mom on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
Let's do it. One of these days.
yeah.
She's into the Joe Benet Ramsey case. I mean, she's into all of it, but she likes that one, I think. So.
Nice.
Has she watched the Murdaugh murders? Is that how you say the name? Murdaugh?
Murdaugh? Oh, yeah, she has. Yeah, we have talked about this. But I just wanted to say, in honor of Pi Day and anyone that is into musicals, Sweeney Todd. Sweeney Todd is from my understanding, he is like a serial killer who cuts up his victims and then he gives them to his, like, I guess, girlfriend or something, and then she bakes them into pies and sells them out of her shop. So I thought that was really, really cool to add.
So,
It's straight true crime,
That is really. I mean, it's not true crime.
It's
but it is still
it's
really
crime.
cool.
It's crime.
That's one of my favorite
It's crime.
musicals.
Pi
I
Day.
absolutely
It is
love
Pi
the
Day.
movie. Johnny Depp, fantastic.
That was dark. Like,
Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a
Pi
pie.
Day.
We were just talking about it, Meat pies and chicken pot pies are all still pies, right?
So,
that was dark. Especially on Pie Day, and I just can't wait to get out of here when we're finished. I'm gonna go eat tons of pie. And but I did not know that. I mean, I've heard of Sweeney Todd, the Broadway play, but like,
Sweeney Todd.
yeah.
It's great. You
Yeah.
should see the Johnny Depp movie. It's fantastic.
Oh, there was a movie on Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, it was Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh, I did not.
And Tim Burton. So it's great. It's a really, really
The
great.
fact that you say Tim Burton, I'm just like, how could I not hear about that? Because it's Tim Burton.
Well, I can tell.
Wait, what did you say?
Yes.
I actually
thank
just
you.
watched Wednesday over break. Now that I'm thinking about it, because it is produced by Tim Burton, but not the point. But good to know that.
True crime.
Well, for me at least, when it comes to true crime, I said I'm an avid podcast listener. I love listening to podcasts. But when it comes to true crime podcasts, there are 3. Well, there's 2 that I listen to, like, not every day, because I'm not trying to be spooked every day of my life.
Right?
But one podcast that is my favorite is called True Crime Creepers. And I actually just listened to an episode a few days ago, and it was about, the episode was called The Austin Servant Girl Murders, where this murder occurred on December 30th, 1884, in Austin, Texas, where a 25-year-old was murdered in the middle of the night in her bed by an unknown intruder. And then, like, 12 months later, there were 7 more intruders exactly like that.
Dang.
And then in the middle of the night, they were all so violent that, like, it took the coroner a while to even identify the bodies. And then, and it was quite, and they say that it was possibly the first serial killer in the United States.
Right. I haven't heard of that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the thing about with this podcast in particular. It goes into different murderers throughout different time periods and time zones. That doesn't make any sense. But that's one that I listen to. Another one is Crime Junkie. I love Crime Junkie. And that's the thing about these podcasts, especially with true crime. If you want to listen to a true crime podcast, I would recommend don't listening to it when you're trying to go to bed or at night because you will have nightmares. I mean, maybe you will, maybe you won't, but that's just me personally because I've done that twice and I couldn't sleep for 2 days after that.
Yeah, my mom does that sometimes. Like, she turns on her podcast to go to bed. I don't know how she does it. I mean, last podcast on the left, that's a really big one for her. They talk a lot about like colds and true crime stuff, obviously. Cold case murders too. That's another big one for them. But they're really funny. I've only listened to a couple of their episodes, but my mom listens to them like to go to bed sometimes. I don't know how she does it.
Nice. I mean, some people say that listening to podcasts is soothing at night, so I can see why. But with a true crime podcast, I'm just like, that's not soothing. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to be laying in bed and hearing about all that.
No. But then Crime Junkie, one that I listened to, like, I think this was a few weeks ago. It was about this woman named Darlene Husk. And actually, this murder is actually based in Indiana in a small town called Argos. And this was in August 17th, 1984. And she was taken out of her home, and then her two daughters actually witnessed the attack. But here's the funny thing: their daughters don't actually recognize the man who took their mom.
Right.
And years later, they still don't know.
That sucks.
I know.
I wanted to add before coming on. I wanted to like try to find a case that was unsolved because I feel like those cases, the unsolved ones, it leaves more up in the air. So when like I guess watching them in a documentary or whatever, the viewer has more to think about. I feel like it resonates better. So I thought a good one to talk about today was the Black Dahlia murder, which has never been solved. But basically how it goes, and this is I got this off the like official FBI website. It was goes on the morning of January 15th, 1947, a mother taking her child for a walk in Los Angeles neighborhood stumbled upon a gruesome sight: the body of a young naked woman sliced clean in half at the waist. And eventually it came to find out that this was like an up and coming like Hollywood actress or whatever. But I didn't want to go too in depth, but it's pretty shocking, because she was just laying in someone's yard and
she was cut in half.
She was cut in half, and like she had like a Joker cut.
It sounds horrible, and you shouldn't do it. But if you really want to see pictures of it, you can find them.
And the strength it takes to cut through that amount of bone, ugh.
But that is true crime.
It is.
It's true.
More true crime,
True-
more Indiana-based true crime.
Yeah.
It happened. It's awful, and it's unsolved.
I got 3 words. Burger Chef murders. We would need Paul to get on the show to talk about the Burger Chef murders because it was a thing that happened in 1978 in Speedway, which is like 45 minutes, hour away from here, like closer to Indianapolis. But 4 young employees at Burger Chef, which was like a little restaurant, they went missing one night, and all the money was taken out of the register and out of the safe. So with the employees gone and the money gone, the cops just kind of thought that it was like a robbery and disappearance, one of those kinds of things. But by the next morning, they found out that it was actually a robbery kidnapping because they found 4 bodies of the employees in a field not too terribly far away. They never found the guy. Well, there are a lot of people that they suspect. There's one guy in particular that ran. I don't know his name right now. Like I said, we need Paul here because he knows all the ins and outs.
His name was
of it.
Burger Chef.
He was the Burger Chef, but he was some dude that like made bombs like in Speedway.
His name was literally Burger Chef.
I can't find the name on the Wikipedia page, but it is a very interesting case, and it really shows you how important police investigations are and how they should be taken seriously. Because the cops were like, "Oh well," and then they just kind of ignored it until they found a bunch of bodies. So.
Yeah, just thinking about that. Now that you say that this case in particular was more of like a robbery, kidnapping or murder that you said. like it was a kidnapping and then you just see 4 bodies just drop later. I'm just like, man, that was quick.
Right? Yeah, they're not quite sure why they kidnapped the employees.
Because you got the money, but then like, I mean, maybe.
Like they're just like teenagers. They're just like kids flipping burgers.
Okay.
Or like young adults, you know. It was very messed up, and I think that's still something they talk about a lot in the Speedway, at least based on what Paul told me and what his family knows about it and everything.
It's pretty infamous considering like it's pretty random, you know.
But
and for it to be called Burger Chef Murder, it's
yeah,
like
I know.
like you don't really. It sounds like something out of a TV show, you know.
Yeah,
Like
doesn't sound real, but it sure is.
But it sure is, and it's quite unfortunate.
And the name Burger Shop itself, it just sounds like a small town burger
it's
shop
true
that
crime.
anybody would just love to go to, but then inside secrets.
Right?
But I don't know if you two are like know the show Unsolved Mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
I have heard of it. I think it's on Hulu, right?
Yeah, I love that show. I really do. That's like my interest when it comes to true crime, just because basically the show is about reenacting certain unsolved mysteries and tales of the families, and
Oh no, that's an older show. I've totally seen that before.
yeah.
Didn't like the Star Trek dude go on there to be the host? Picard? It was like one of the actors from
I
Star
know
Trek.
Virginia Madsen did it, from what I know. But
Maybe I'm thinking of a different show.
well, Raymond Burr, Carl Malden, Robert Stack, Virginia Madsen, and then Dennis Farina.
One of those names might be right.
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't know.
Because I know 2 of them sound familiar. Obviously, Virginia Madsen, like I said, but Carl Malden, that name sounds so familiar.
Carl Malden.
But then they actually, even though it was an old TV series back in the day, they actually rebooted it on Netflix. And it goes through the same concept of just like retelling like old unsolved mysteries from back in the day. And yeah, and I will say this: as much as I like, like old school like unsolved mysteries, like sometimes I get too involved in like celebrity murder cases. Like for example, like Tupac and Biggie Smalls. Like those two, like I mean they're close, but then like with Biggie Smalls, like we still don't know who his killer was. I mean people were thinking that like Suge Knight was the one who orchestrated all of this just because he represented East Coast or West Coast rap. I may be wrong, but
I think it was West Coast. Death Row.
yeah, because
Yeah, you know more about Suge Knight. Tell us, Shawn.
He was a blood, right? Yeah.
Crip and Blood.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I don't know. He had a lot of beef with all of those.
Yeah,
rappers.
he wore red. He wore a lot of red. That's true.
But then he managed. Wait, I don't know if he managed Tupac though. That's my thing.
Oh, yes, he did.
Yeah. So
No,
that's.
he I think he owned Death Row Records, and that's where NWA, and then Dre, Eazy-E, and then I don't know about Wu-Tang, but I do know, and I think Tupac was in on it too. And then
I think Wu-Tang was.
And then, but I can't. Because Suge was in the car with Tupac, right? No. It was Biggie. It was Biggie, right? It was Biggie that was in the car with him, right? Or wasn't he?
No,
I thought they died on the same night.
No, they didn't. Tupac was the first to get shot, but then 6 months after Biggie got shot and died. It's just that Tupac died in Vegas, Biggie died in California. I was like, wait, what is going on?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, I just know Suge was a blood, yes.
And like and people are saying that he was like more upset. He was upset that obviously Tupac got shot, and then people were like representing like West Coast rap more than East Coast rap. Like it was a whole debacle and everything. But then like I was really interested in the story, and still like 25 years later, we still don't know who Biggie's killer was, even though Suge Knight is still in jail because he was somewhat what's the word I'm looking for? An accomplice to his murder.
I do have a message from my producer.
It
says we have laptops, so maybe we should look it up.
Well, just on the topic of true crime, Suge Knight also drove over a guy in his pickup truck.
And he has assaulted several people over.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm
so
pretty sure he's
like
been
if
in
it
prison
wasn't
more
if
the
it
last,
wasn't
30
Tupac,
years.
it was also the several people he's killed since then.
I don't know if has he killed people? I mean, I'm sure he has.
Yeah,
I know he
I
beats a
mean-
lot of people up.
I
yeah.
do. I don't know.
And thanks for reminding us. We have technology.
I think he probably has killed more than just one person. Pretty sure. And I watched Straight Outta Compton. Okay, I've seen that movie. Look.
Yeah.
So you're like pretty much
Yeah, I'm
in-house
like-
historian on
Yes.
all that.
I'm a connoisseur of Compton.
I am the connoisseur of COVID lockdowns and all the great shows that brought us. One
Oh.
of the first being The Tiger King, one of the best shows to come out of.
I didn't watch
Netflix.
that show.
I didn't.
It's fantastic. I mean, I only watched the first season
It felt
when it came out.
It felt too creepy and culty, at least for my taste.
It was definitely pretty creepy and culty. For those of you who don't know, the Tiger King, Joe Exotic, tried to hire a hitman on this lady that he's been beefing with for like 25 years. Obviously, it didn't work, and it was like a sting operation, so now he's doing life or something. But he also ran a tiger rescue.
or something.
Rescue, we'll use that very lightly here. And he just mistreated his animals and his people all of the time, and it sucked.
Yeah.
There were a lot of lawsuits, and he
Keep
tried to get a
animals out
pardon
of it.
from Donald Trump. He didn't get one, though.
But
Either way.
but then that I didn't watch. But then going into serial killers real quick. Well, for Jeffrey Dahmer, the new series, I still haven't watched because I feel like that would be too creepy. But I do hear that some people like it. And then Extremely Wicked, Shocking, and Vile with Ted Bundy. Zac Efron played that.
Oh man, I've
I
seen
watched
both of
it.
those.
You know, a lot of people have a good
They're so
argument
good.
about those kinds of movies. You know, they make
Yeah.
them into big blockbuster things on Netflix.
They
or in the movies.
they glorify the killer and
Right, it does seem that way, and then
Yeah.
you see people on TikTok and Twitter making fan cams and stuff. It's weird. I don't understand.
And that's why I haven't watched Dahmer, because why are we trying to celebrate a man or glorify this man who has killed so many people? And then to hear it from the families itself when they're saying, "Oh, that's not the
yeah.
true story and that's not what happened."
yeah. I was just gonna say that I watched Dahmer, and the thing is I really did enjoy it, and that's why I think there's a lot of issues with it, because it kind of made him out to be this immortal supervillain, and it was.
I mean, are all those?
It was just kind of sad, because it's people were actually affected by this.
Yeah.
People lost loved ones, and
They are super.
and I love
that's
Evan
why.
Peters, and I did enjoy it, and it was around October, and it was spooky, whatever. But
But then you have to consider other people
It-
who went through that.
it kind of takes away from
The premise of it all?
the severity of the actual
Yeah,
situation.
because people could have PTSD from
Yeah.
that. They could have bringing up past
Yeah.
wounds and trauma for them. So that's why I haven't watched it, because I wouldn't want to condone that kind of TV show. Even though people say that it's good, the actors wanted to be a part of it because of the storytelling. I get that part, but then just having to open up past wounds and having to people glorify a man who has caused so much pain and trauma to so many other people, that I won't do.
And there was a specific part in the show where he was wearing yellow contacts in the apartment, and I do know that is true. He did that at least once, but you can't tell me that they weren't in the room talking we'll have him wear the contacts. It'll look great. It'll look super scary, and so it just I don't really think their heart was in the right place where.
Yeah.
We need to do these victims justice. I think it was more let's see how fucking scary,
Oh.
scary Dahmer is. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and-
Satan, literally Satan.
Yeah, and to go in real quick, crime shows that are great: Law and Order SVU, Organized Crime, and then one of my favorites, Rizzoli Isles. Love that show. Even though it's kind of even though it is Rizzoli Isles is more on the homicide detective kind of side and kind of lawyer based, that is a really good show. If you want to get into true crime and everything like that, but Law and Order SVU. I don't know if Benson and Stabler will get together. I have mixed feelings about that, but. Just random, but I just wanted to bring that up because Law and Order, you can't beat that. But
That's right.
But unfortunately, we are out of time. But I want to thank you both for joining me.
Of course.
Thank
Be sure
you.
to have us back again with Shawn's mom at some point.
My mom will sit here. Speaking of true crime, my friend's cat scratched my finger, and
Aww.
it drew blood. That's a crime. Arrest this cat.
It's a cat.
Arrest this cat.
That is a true crime.
That is a true crime that happened today. I was assaulted by a cat.
What if it was an accident?
I don't think she wanted to be pet.
Y'all are awful. Like,
Uh.
but thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
See ya.
See ya.